You're playing through a piece and something sounds completely off even though you're hitting all the right keys. I've helped many piano players like you go from confusion to confidence with intervals. And by the end of this video, you'll hear the difference between steps and skips, know what they look like on the piano. Intervals are simply the distance between two notes. You hear them, see them on the piano, and eventually read them in music. But today we're focusing on the hearing and seeing. Listen to a little bit of this piece. First, I'm going to play it completely wrong. Yeah, that doesn't sound great, does it? I mean, I probably wouldn't want to play that during the week. But now listen to it played correctly. Suddenly, the title makes perfect sense. By the way, this piece is called The Perfect Day. So I can imagine my perfect day, right? It involves tea and a good book. So let me know in the comments, what does your perfect day look like? When we ignore the intervals that a composer chose, we lose the mood and the imagery that the piece creates. And honestly, it can sound downright awful. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Rosemarie. I've been teaching for over 20 years and composing imaginative educational piano music for nearly as long here at Must Love Music. Let's break down the two main intervals you'll learn as an absolute beginner, skips and steps. So I want you to listen to this interval. I always think it sounds like an older doorbell. Now, if we look at this from the overhead view, see how we skip a note. I'll hold them just so you can see how we skipped there. When we count the notes as we play, plus any in between, we get 3 notes total, right? 2, 3, and that's why it's called a third interval or a skip. Okay, so let's try that first skip in a piece called The Perfect Day. We're going to go from B, G. Pretty easy, right? Go ahead and try it out. Okay, now listen to this interval. Now, I always think it sounds like we're going somewhere. When we look at the piano again, that was a step, and we went from G, A. Try that out. Notice we're going to the very next white key or white note. There's no skipping involved here. By counting the notes we play, and since there's none in between, we get 2 notes in total, a second interval, also known as a step. For more advanced lessons, yes, we add black keys and do all sorts of wonderful things, but for this lesson, we're going to keep it to just those ones. All right, now the right hand in this particular piece uses all steps, but when we add different note lengths, it sounds much more interesting. So we're actually playing just D, E, D. Go ahead and give that a try. If we mix skips and steps together, which most songs do, we might get something like, not bad, hey? By the way, if you like The Perfect Day, link is in the description. So these are the main intervals you'll learn as an absolute beginner, steps and skips that form the foundation for everything else. Want to dive deeper? In my studio, we explore playing intervals in different keys, how they show up in songs you already know, and using them to create your own melodies. Plus, my online studio is built for diverse learners, whether you're neurodivergent or just learn differently. You'll create music right alongside building technique at your own pace. Be sure to book your free meet and greet. Link is below or scan this QR code. So here's something fun to explore. Listen to this. Notice how keeping my hands just a little apart makes it sound more interesting than having them right next to each other. Here's a simple practice tip. When you play notes on the piano, pay attention to how the distance between the notes sounds. We don't often break down music like this, but it does help you learn by ear, so you don't always have to rely on reading the music, which as a beginner piano player means you can play way more faster. Now, if this video helped you understand intervals, at least the basics, a little better, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps other piano players find this content. Fantastic work learning to hear and play steps and skips today. Want to hear even more examples of these intervals in action? Check out the full The Perfect Day collection playlist. You'll discover intervals in so many different musical contexts. Thanks and happy playing.